Coming up on this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we take a look at the new Steamship Authority's hybrid ferry, the Woods Hole. We visit the Falmouth Commodores to find out what people can expect this season. We learn about WCAI's unique radio exchange project, and we cheer on the runners of the Falmouth Flag Day 5K. All this and much more on this edition of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm Liz Lerner, the Membership and Outreach Coordinator for FCTV. We'll start this episode with a show of support in town. The Falmouth No Place for Hate organization held a vigil in solidarity with the victims of hate in Orlando on Wednesday, June 15th on the Village Green. Hundreds came together to mourn and show their support for the victims in Orlando and their families and friends.
My heart broke and it is breaking still. But I will not let grief silence me. So let me proclaim boldly and loudly, Falmouth stands with Orlando.
Thank you to Alan Russell for bringing us that footage. The Steamship Authority added a new hybrid ferry to its fleet. On Monday, June 13th, the village of Woods Hole welcomed the $41 million vessel that shares its name at a commissioning celebration. The 235-foot-long passenger and vehicle ferry will serve both the Woods Hole to Martha's Vineyard 45-minute route, as well as the Hyannis to Nantucket 2 hours and 15-minute route. FCTV Executive Director and CEO Deborah Rogers spoke with some of the individuals in attendance.
Obviously, since the steamship port opened up in Oak Bluffs, the ridership has just been climbing and climbing, and the Woods Hole will be the primary vessel servicing our community, and it's set up to bring freight and passengers in a way that we've never seen before. And the town of Oak Bluffs, everyone knows, has been undergoing quite a renaissance of late, and adding the Woods Hole to our steamship dock, I think, is going to be tremendous for our community.
A day where we gather together to show our strength, and part of the strength is our economic strength and the ability to really harness our resources here, be more efficient, deal with an issue we all know. Anyone who lives around this area knows how the congestion can be an issue, but getting a new asset, turning into new spaces, and freeing up what will be a growing tourism and economic area for for Falmouth and beyond.
I'm excited about the boat. I'm excited about the fact it's going to come out to Nantucket as well. As you know, I'm someone who spends a lot of time on these things, and they are our lifeline to the mainland, and we couldn't survive without them. And we certainly appreciate the ports that welcome us.
And I'm very proud today to see all these people looking at the historic panels on the steamship Woods Hole. We're very proud of them. They're just great. It was fun to go into the archives and find photographs that we love that would be interesting to everyone else to see, and then to tell the story with several different panels about the history of town. And it's been a wonderful job, and I'm so pleased that thousands of people are going to see these and enjoy them.
My family has been coming down to the vineyard since I was 3 weeks old. My parents were coming down long before that with my grandparents, and we just built a house over here a couple of years ago. So being a part of something that hopefully I can continue to come on for years to come, I'm really excited to be a part of.
Is such a significant and important thing that we all kind of take for granted. But it takes people in leadership, like we've seen in the Steamship Authority, to make this a reality. The Steamship Authority has run an effective transportation operation for many, many years, and we are all the beneficiaries of that.
Woods Hole, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, we're not separated by water, we're connected by it, and the steamship plays such a critical role in making that connection.
I think it makes things go smoother when things break, when the weather changes, when there's calamity. I just think it's a wonderful thing to have an ample fleet rather than an aging fleet.
It's going to be a very versatile vessel for us to be able to fill in at certain times of the year, that it can act as a like a big boat, one of the Martha's Vineyard or the Island Home during the winter when we don't have to carry as many passengers, and some of the other boats are taking out for repair. And then in the summer and fall, when it can be used as a freight boat to go back and forth to the islands.
The ferry has the capacity to carry 384 persons on board, including crew, and the freight deck can accommodate 10 100,000-pound semi-trailers or a mix of trucks and cars. For even more footage of the celebration, keep an eye on our website, fctv.org, for FCTV member Kevin Lynch's program on the ferry. The Falmouth Flag Day 5K, a race that raises money for the Falmouth Education Foundation, had over 350 participants this year. FCTV's Ryan Weber was there and tells us more.
Well, welcome to the Falmouth Flag Day 5K. This is our 6th running of the event, and we have been raising money for the Falmouth Education Foundation. We started this event because we were hoping we could help improve education in the school system by allowing teachers to get grants. And we thought the more money we could raise through a race, we could add it to the already wonderful money that the FEF raises on their own. So we started this fun event. It's all free for children. Any child 9 and under can run an event for free, and they get treats and medals and prizes, and they have snacks, and it's really a fun way to get children physically fit. In addition to that, we have close to 500 runners this year and walkers, and we really urge people to come and enjoy this wonderful day.
The Falmouth Education Foundation is the sole beneficiary of the race, and we are so grateful. Over the past 3 years that we've been the beneficiary, the race has raised just about $30,000 for innovative projects in the Falmouth Public Schools. And that's projects across all grades and all schools and all subject areas.
And so this is my first year teaching at T-Ticket, so I'm here to support the FEF, as this grant was really important to me because being a first year teacher, we needed a lot of reading supplies, and that's going to help support my classroom along with Miss Clark, who received the grant with me.
I think that I came out because I knew that it was going to be a good race. And I've done it before, so I knew that I wanted to do it because it's a nice exercising race.
Congratulations to Robert DeLeo and Ann Presig for winning the men's and women's races respectively. It's time now for 3 Things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
The Board of Selectmen affirmed the appointment of Deputy Director Michael Small to Fire Chief.
It certainly is my great pleasure to request that the Board of Selectmen affirm my appointment of Michael Small as Chief of Fire for the town of Falmouth. As the board is aware, Michael has been our senior deputy chief. He has performed admirably over the past 5 months as the acting director of fire. And Mike was also our strongest candidate coming out of the recent assessment center process. So that, again, it's my great pleasure to recommend him as Chief of Fire, subject to the concurrence of the board.
Elizabeth Gladfelder, Falmouth's representative to the Steamship Authority, gave a presentation on a proposed plan to add New Bedford to Martha's Vineyard freight service.
I'm going to skip down to 7. The recommendation, and this is a recommendation that I felt very strongly about, rates of fare would be the same as established for the Woods Hole route, so that you could make a reservation as a freight operator to leave from New Bedford, go to Martha's Vineyard, come back through Woods Hole.
The selectmen weighed in on their thoughts regarding the addition of the proposed service.
That seems to me as though one of the main reasons for looking at this is to reduce the traffic being generated out of Woods Hole to Martha's Vineyard, and to try and find an alternative. I think it's a great idea to do what you're doing here, but to make a statement that a 20% reduction wouldn't be noticed.
At her final Board of Selectmen meeting, Assistant Town Manager Heather Harper looked back on her 21 years of working for the town of Falmouth.
In any way, but it's really been an honor and a privilege to serve such a beautiful community. One of the best in the nation, and I think there's some credits out there that recognize the really superior community that we have. Wonderful quality of life for everyone who lives here. We've had a really tremendous opportunity to work for the first town manager and the only town managers in Falmouth, and that is Peter Boyer and Robert Rittenauer and Julian Suso. And they're all just really remarkably different managers and individuals, and I've learned a tremendous amount working with each of them. It's been a real joy and pleasure to work with really dedicated and capable staff. There's one of them hanging around out there, but truly invested in this community, and I think that's a real hallmark of the town of Falmouth, the type of professionalism that you get from your staff members here. So it's been a pleasure to work with them.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out FCTV's website and click on the Government Channel 15 link at fctv.org. It's now time for our monthly feature, Ryan Collings' Fishing Report from My Fishing Cape Cod.
There's been a lot of life off Cape Cod the past few weeks, and during this trip I was tuna fishing east of Chatham with My Fishing Cape Cod contributor and good friend of mine, Bob Hovey.
Come on.
The key for us was finding the whales, and what you're seeing right now are pods of feeding adult humpback whales. Guys have been hooking up with tuna, school tuna, all the way up to giants. We've also seen some interesting creatures while fishing east of Chatham, and right here is an adult basking shark. The amount of seals that have been out on the tuna grounds is also quite impressive.
Pretty serious shark.
It seems that the key right now, as is usually the case in this area of Cape Cod, is to find the life, the whales, the sharks, and fish in that general area. Whoa. Now, in addition to tuna fishing, I have still been exploring Cape Cod on foot. And during this trip, I was fishing beaches on Lower Cape Cod. However, you still definitely have good chance in the Falmouth area. You don't have to drive way down Cape Cod to find fish right now. But this area of the Cape is so wild and undeveloped, even if you don't catch a fish, it's worth being out here. But what I've been finding
Another dead bird?
are bass pushing juvenile sea herring up onto shore. And what you're about to see here is a school of stripers that has pushed sea herring right up onto the beach. And this has been happening in many different areas throughout the Cape.
Might as well help these little guys out.
And obviously, if you come across something like this, you know you're in a good spot. And when bass are on sea herring, they're relatively easy to catch on plugs, especially topwater plugs like guppy pencil poppers. And that's what we've been doing when fishing out in the boat the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, they grab it, they hold on.
And this is exciting as it gets with regards to striper fishing. I even took the hooks off my plug for a while just to watch the stripers hit it. We've been running group trips over the past couple weeks. They've been going very well. We've been getting some people out on the water, and some of the trips have resulted in dozens of fish up to 35 pounds.
My God.
Now, the action specifically off of Falmouth for me has been more of a live bait thing. Live scup in particular have worked the best for me off the Falmouth area when fishing this past weekend from a boat. However, if you keep your eyes open, you see the birds working, you might just find some action like this on plugs. Thanks for watching this report, and I'll see you over at myfishingcapecod.com.
Thank you to Ryan for that amazing footage. We're going to take a quick break to learn about an adoptable dog from Friends of Falmouth Dogs, but when we return, we'll visit a local rugby tournament, learn about a unique public radio exchange, and find out what's new this season with the Falmouth Commodores baseball team. Stay with us.
Lulu is a 1.5-year-old mix of beagle and pug, a puggle. She is a lively youngster who loves to race around the play yards, leap into laps, and then back down for more play. We think she'll do really well in a home with another dog. We're looking for an active family that can give her the exercise she needs. For more information, please visit Friends of Falmouth Dogs website at friendsoffalmouthdogs.org or call 508-548-7742.
Welcome back. WCAI, the local NPR station located in Woods Hole that serves the Cape and Islands, was part of a public media exchange experiment with another station located 2,300 miles away in Marfa, Texas, called Radio Hometown. 2 stations, 2 hosts, 1 community of listeners.
Weekday afternoon, Steve Junker settles in at the Woods Hole studio to host All Things Considered. At a recent public radio conference, he wondered about the challenges at other small stations. He had an idea for a host exchange.
I was thinking about the ways that we're both trying to solve a lot of the same problems, and being both small and relatively new stations, I thought that we could learn something from each other. And I reached out to their general manager, a fellow named Tom Michael, and said, I have this idea that maybe we can learn something from each other and maybe we could do this through a swap.
Steve packed up his family and headed to West Texas for 3 weeks. He and Morning Edition host Travis Bubenik exchange places. Their mission? Spark conversation across what sometimes appears to be a divisive gap within our national culture while reflecting the characters and concerns of their local communities.
The more we thought about it, the more it became a discussion about how it can be an exchange between communities, perhaps, just as much as it is an exchange for the broadcasters. That it's really an opportunity for us to try to establish a connection with another community that has a lot of similarities to our community here on the Cape and the coast and the islands.
And this is WCAI. I'm Travis Bubenik in Woods Hole.
Travis had lots of thoughts about what Cape Cod might be like and was open to anything.
Well, it's been really crazy. First and foremost, I've never been to New England anywhere. Born and bred Texan, so that is pretty exotic. But it's been really fun, and I think the biggest takeaway from it, just for us, I think internally, is going to be learning from each other. And then just beyond that, it's been obviously incredible just to meet so many different people from across the Cape. And the islands as well, and also just to hear what people are thinking about it, because again, the whole thing is it's an experiment. We sort of, going into this, didn't know if people were going to, the listeners, well, we're going to love it or hate it, and I haven't heard anything but good feedback.
Both were a bit nervous to fill each other's shoes, but they were also excited to take on an adventure and energize what they do.
There is a feeling between both of our stations that we're young stations that like to experiment, and it's part of our identity, and it's part of what we can offer as smaller stations. We're more flexible, and we can experiment in a way that bigger stations can't. They just aren't as quick and flexible. So we can come up with an idea like this and make it happen.
I think the tech operation here is very cool. I think the big thing that we're taking away is what a difference just a few more staff members can make. WCAI and Marfa Public Radio are similarly sized. We have about 6 people. They have 10 to 15, loosely speaking. And just those extra few people really makes a huge difference. So for us, it sort of gives us, we're about 5 years younger than this station is in Marfa. And so for us, it gives us that sort of drive to really push forward, try to do some more fundraising, just try to be of better service to the community to sort of, continue that growth to where we can get to where this station is.
And for Travis, there was another great discovery he took away.
I took away that stuffed quahog is really good. I had never had that before.
Thank you to FCTV's Bob Fenstermaker for bringing us that piece. Cape League Baseball is back. The Falmouth Commodores had their home opener on Sunday, June 12th. FCTV stopped by a practice before the big day to find out what fans can expect this season. General Manager Eric Zamuda tells us more.
Well, I think we'll have a lot of the same, which is very competitive baseball on a nightly basis. You have a 10-week season where the players will do 44 regular season games, 22 home, 22 away, and then most of the teams will make the playoffs, so we hope to be one of those lucky teams that make the playoffs right into August and drive right forward, hopefully right at that final round.
Cape League Baseball strives to be family-friendly and offers a variety of theme nights and a kids club. It's important to the team that they keep the games accessible to everyone.
Yeah, a very unique thing about the Cape Cod Baseball League is all the games are free. We certainly will take donations at the door. Some folks will pass the hat during the game. But if you come in and you just say hello to the people at the front gate, that's really all we ask. We want you to enjoy the game of baseball.
The organization relies on donations and its dedicated group of volunteers, including Kathy Yule, who works in the merchandise shack.
We have a lot of new merchandise, and we've been working with 47 brand this year, so we have a lot of their stuff in, which is new. We have different hats, different sweatshirts, different t-shirts, just trying to offer a variety. With the camo hats we got a couple of years ago, and they are part of our Red Shirt Friday program that we do. So the players all wear red shirts, and they wear the camo hats, and we sell the camo hats in the shack. And the Red Shirt Friday is just something you do for active duty military that are deployed, and kind of honors them in a way.
And of course, the merchandise isn't all that's new. Head coach Jeff Trundy introduces us to some of this year's players.
Some of the people we have Matt McLaughlin, who's a shortstop from Kansas. He's a sophomore there. We have Stephen Valines from Kansas, who's a right-handed relief pitcher that was with us last year as well. We have Michael Gigliotti from Lipscomb, who is a sophomore center fielder. And we have Brady Puckett from Lipscomb, who is a right-handed pitcher and a sophomore as well. Well, I think we always hope that these kids, first and foremost, are going to have an opportunity to develop and get better. We want them to have a great experience and feel like they went back to school becoming a better player. And in the process, I think there's a lot of positives happen along the way. They certainly form friendships going to last for many of them a lifetime, and it's a summer that they're going to look back on and look back on very, very fondly.
FCTV will be providing coverage of quite a few Commodores home games this season. Keep an eye on our Channel 13 programming schedule at fctv.org for dates and times. Rugby might not be the first sport that comes to mind when you think of Falmouth, but it's becoming more popular in town thanks to efforts like this, an inaugural Cape Cod 10s rugby tournament that was held recently at Central Park in Falmouth Heights.
So today is the inaugural Cape Cod 10s tournament. It's the 10-a-side variation of rugby union. There's really three main versions of rugby. There's the rugby sevens, which is 7-a-side, which will be featured in the Olympics this year. There's 15-a-side, which is what we play through the fall and spring season, and then the other small-sided is 10-a-side, so it's 10 players instead of 15. We've been going to tournaments since the club was founded in 2010. Most of the tournaments are a fairly hefty drive for us, and we've got such a beautiful location. It's Cape Cod, the weather's beautiful, we have the ocean right there, and it was a chance to bring a bunch of ruggers from different communities to come and get to enjoy what we enjoy year-round. So we had teams that came from as far away as Stowe, Vermont. We had North Shore, which is from Salem, Boston, South Shore, which is based out of Weymouth, and then, of course, your hometown team, Cape Cod, which practices in Sandwich. Cape Cod was founded in 2010. Started out with an active roster of 5 players. We were very successful early on. We won the NERFU Cup Championship in 2011, 12, and 13. Had an off year in 2014, and then won the plate, which would be like the 3rd place in 2015. Right now, we've got members that travel from Plymouth. We've got guys that come from the Lower Cape, as well as guys in Sandwich, Falmouth, Hyannis, Mid and Upper Cape. Eventually, what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to generate enough traction so that we can start working into a U19 club. Right now, there's not any high school teams on the Cape, and rugby, the way it's growing nationwide, it's a good opportunity so that we can get younger players to learn the sport, transition into college sports, and then hopefully come back and join us on the Cape once they've graduated from school. This was such a fun and successful event. We plan on doing this for many years to come.
Thank you to FCTV's Michael Sperling for taking time between playing and matches to bring us that piece. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, Troy gives us his take on a favorite local attraction, the Carousel of Light. Welcome back. As the Carousel of Light Board President, Troy Clarkson shares with us his take on why the Carousel, located on the Mullen Hall School grounds, is so special to so many people.
Thanks, Liz. The sun is shining, Main Street is bustling with people from all corners of the globe, and of course, the Carousel of Light is back up and running on the grounds of Mullen Hall School. We have Carousel fans Rena and Wally from Pittsfield and their grandson Jordan. So, was this Jordan's first carousel ride?
It is his first carousel ride, yep.
How did he like it?
He
liked it.
He
got kind of dizzy,
wasn't
I think,
too
at
sure
one
what
point.
was happening, but he enjoyed it.
We made it. We made it through. So what does it mean, you guys, to be able to visit a wonderful town like Falmouth and then have a resource like this right in the downtown?
It's great. It's very nice. We saw it on the, we were looking for something to do with the baby, and it's perfect. So we just did a little walk downtown, got some ice cream, and took a nice ride on the carousel. They played great music. Great.
Isn't it wonderful that we have something like this right here in Falmouth where you can bring the kids and as we say, create a merry-go-round memory?
Oh, absolutely. Do you have a favorite horse? Yeah, they all have favorite horses, and it's something I think that they will. Yeah, you like Pearl? I think it's something that they will remember for a long time.
So with the calliope music in the background, this traditional but very unique Carousel of Light is a real Falmouth jewel. And of course, behind any great organization is a group of great, energetic, and dedicated people. And one of those for the Carousel of Light is the Vice President of the Board of Directors, Don Terry. Don, thank you for all the work that you do on behalf of the Carousel, and what does it mean to be able to be part of such an amazing organization?
Everybody always says it's my pleasure, but this really is my pleasure. Since I've been involved in the Carousel, I've taken a close look at all of the carousels all over the world. So I've seen carousels now in London, in Paris, in Tokyo, and I'm telling you, the Falmouth Carousel is better than any of them. No kidding.
You have a fascinating story, Don, and it's been cataloged by biographers and in Washington Press. What is it about this carousel, about this organization, in this community that makes it so special?
Well, you know, I've been involved in politics for a lot of years at different levels. And what everybody is always looking for these days is what the new term is authenticity. And I would have to say that authenticity is what you get at the Carousel. You get an authentic, nostalgic ride, but the kids are authentic. The parents are mostly authentic. It's a wonderful, wonderful operation to be involved in. Really, it's such a positive experience that somebody such as myself, I need after having spent 45 years in Washington, D.C.
So, well, there you go. That's what it's all about. This organization, this wonderful hand-carved carousel, this opus of local artist Lance Schinkel is authentic, as is the genuine support and dedication of folks like Don and others who dedicate their time and resources to make this local jewel, this nonprofit corporation run, so that people here from all over the globe can have enjoyment. Come on down and see the Carousel of Light, see it in action, and make a merry-go-round memory. I'm Falmouth Enterprise columnist Troy Clarkson, and that's my take. Liz, from the merry-go-round, back to you.
And thank you, Troy, for your take. We've been receiving some great viewer content lately, and we'd like to encourage more Falmouth residents and visitors to send us their snapshots and videos from around town for our hashtag MyFalmouth segment. If you're interested in having us feature footage or photos of yours from around town, email me at liz@fctv.org or use the hashtag MyFalmouth and Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We'll end this episode with some dramatic footage shared with us by Falmouth resident Ronald Brettler. It shows visitors at the knob cutting away line from a lobster trap wrapped around the neck and fin of a leatherback turtle who later swims away. Truly good Samaritans by all definitions. Thank you to Ronald for that footage, and thank you for joining us for this episode of Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.